Hello, today we will be talking about integers. This is just our first lesson on integers. It's a brand new topic for us. So the positive numbers, first of all, we're going to talk about positive and negative numbers. So positive numbers is every number that is greater than 0. So you might have 1, 2, 3, 10, 100, 412, things like that. Then we have negative numbers. Negative numbers is any number less than 0. So how can you have a number less than 0? But we have it all the time. If we have an extremely cold temperature, you might say that it is 5 degrees below 0. We can also write that as -5. So the little, what looks like a subtraction sign, but when we use it just on a plain number, that's called a negative sign. So it is any number like -1, -2, -3, -4, -100, -933. So any number with a minus, like it looks like a minus sign, but it's called negative. We read it -5, -1. And then we have the good old number 0. 0 is neither positive nor negative. Okay. So when we use positive numbers, we think about things like gains or increases. So like in sports, if you're watching a football game and they make a gain of 20 yards, that means they're going in a positive direction. It's a positive 20. Or if you spent, on the other hand, if you used negative numbers, that refers to losses or decreases or a value below or less than a certain amount. So if you spent $75, you could represent that as -$75 in your bank account. So we have also what are called opposites. Okay, opposites. So let's draw a number line. I'm just going to draw a line here. And it's just customary, we put 0 right in the center of the line. We can put little hash marks and start numbering in the positive direction. You've done this before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we go on to infinity. Our negative numbers, though, remember, those are the numbers that are less than 0. They're going to go off to the left side of 0, and we're going to put -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and so on and so on. Opposites are the numbers that kind of look the same, but one of them has a negative sign. In other words, they are the same distance from 0. So if I have the point 2, and then I have the point -2, we can say that 2 and -2 are opposites. 2 and -2 are opposites. They're on the different sides of 0, the same distance. Now that brings us to a major term. I'm going to write it nice and big. Integers. Integers. Okay, so we name this set of numbers by all of the whole numbers. Okay, all of the whole numbers. And their opposites. Okay, so what's a whole number? A whole number is any number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it also includes 0 in there. Okay, so it's all of those numbers and their opposites. So if it includes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, negative, you get the idea. And 0. 0, it is its own opposite. Okay? So all of these would be considered integers. Now remember, integers cannot be fractions, they can't be decimals, they're just plain old numbers, whether they're positive or negative or 0. Okay. Now, one last term, one last concept. We kind of hinted to it up here when we said opposites. We have something called absolute value. Absolute value. Now, what that is, it's just a fancy way of saying the distance from 0. The distance from 0. And the distance from 0 is always going to be a positive number, whether I'm going forward or backwards, to the left or to the right. So if I have another number line here, I could use the same one, but I like drawing number lines. Okay, we're going to put the 0 right in the center again, and I'm going to start naming this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to go in the negative direction the same amount. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So I want to find the absolute value, or the distance from 0, of 3. Okay. And the way I write this, remember mathematics, we always have a way of writing things. We have these two vertical lines, and if we put them on both sides of a number, that says absolute value. Now we usually make these a little bit longer so that they go above and beyond, like the tops and the bottoms of the number. We don't want to mistake them for ones. When you have a printed book or a worksheet, you'll see that they're also very thin lines, and it's kind of hard to do with a pencil. So we make them just a little bit longer. So this is read the absolute value of 3. So in other words, how far is 3 away from 0? 1, 2, 3 units. So the absolute value of 3 is 3. Now, let's do something with a negative number. Let's do the absolute value of -3. So here is -3 in our number line. It is asking the absolute value of -3. How many units away from 0 is -3? Here's 0, 1, 2, 3. It's 3 units away. This number is always a distance. It is always going to be positive. So if I said I want the absolute value of -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 units away. If I said I wanted the absolute value of -10, that will be 10. If I want the absolute value of 7, that will be 7. So this number is always going to be positive. So you can see the absolute value of 3 and the absolute value of -3 is the same answer. If you ever have the absolute value of 0, that's asking you, how far away is 0 from 0? Well, it's 0 units. So we'll be working a lot with absolute values and integers for the rest of your lives. Once again, here is your introduction to integers and absolute value.